Going back to 2004, when I read Think and Grow Rich, 20 years ago, the one key insight that I go to from the book, conscious autosuggestion, is what I refer to, is what I utilize, which is thinking from the vision to generate a flow-based, bridge of incidence, path of least resistance-based, flow-based to manifesting my vision. In today's conversation, we have 9 participants that have volunteered from my group coaching and mastermind service, Flow-Based Prosperity. If you're interested in that, I'll link in the description to it. They have so graciously chose to share their experiences with you of living this way. And I trust that you'll enjoy and benefit greatly from today's conversation. And also, if you choose to do so, which I greatly encourage, being in contact with the participants, the links to their contact information is in the description of this video. Like, for example, Jay, who I'm about to bring on, who has a wonderful business that he manifested and also teaches entrepreneurs in a community, chaos, quantum, etc., his way of actualizing prosperity. I'll link the description to the resources. Let's start our conversation today with Jay.
It's wonderful to be here, Joseph. I appreciate the opportunity. So, who am I? I go by Jay, just letter J. My name is Jeffrey Bartlett Jr. I just go by Jay Bartlett. I own a company called Different, spelled different, Dyfrent. And Different is a creative consultancy and a brand. And what we do for other people, I like to say, is we sharpen their intangible edge by amalgamating technology with creative insight. And we do this at the highest level for many entrepreneurs, founders, and an inspiring story. I met LeBron James,
We're in the same, because
and
I was thinking about that. I was
yes,
thinking LeBron James, yeah.
yes. One of the biggest takeaways I took from that experience was when we get into these rooms where there's a lot of money, status, high level networking to be done. None of the traditional material aspects mattered at that point. The most important thing to create resonance in that community is to be able to stand on top of your I am. And so when I met LeBron, I looked him in the eye and I said, "You are chosen. I am chosen." I made everything I'm wearing in cashmere. I have a vision to double athlete net income. I have a technology I'm patenting that turns air into energy, safely stores hydrogen. Our collaboration can truly shift the culture and change the world. Having conviction in my I am elicited a response from someone at that level. LeBron is a billionaire, to say, yeah, let's sit down and talk about this. Let's create a relationship. Let's understand how we can collaborate, do business, and just create value in the world. And again, it wasn't because I flew first class. It wasn't because I had nice shoes. It wasn't because a car, a house, a watch. It was because of my conviction and my self-concept. So that is my inspiring story.
I love that you said conviction, I am, self-concept. I see you, I witness you embodying more so each day your ideal concept of self. And as you do, it plays out this way as wonderful, harmonious relationships. You got to meet someone that you may have at one point desired to work with, and there they are. And they relate with you in a harmonious way, which can turn into a collaboration. Did something come out of that?
Yeah. So I've been talking to Spring Hill LeBron's company for, I guess, almost 2 years now, workshopping this idea and how we can make not just a shift for players in the NBA, but also create intellectual property and share the insights with the culture. I also got the opportunity to be invited to more Lakers events and meet other players on the team. I connected with a bunch of the players, and right now I've been going back and forth a lot also with Anthony Davis on the Lakers and his business manager. It's the off season at the time we're recording this. So very really pivotal point and being able to make some progress on what I'm calling financial free agency for sports.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much for sharing that. All a result of, as I always say, being as I am, going to the end, embodying the true concept of self, plays out as wonderful experiences like this. And now you get to enjoy it. And many more to come.
Absolutely. 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 Just scratches the surface of what's possible. And once I experienced that moment, it really, I believe, faith is knowing all possibilities exist. And when you live these moments that you've imagined, regardless of the percent likelihood that they reveal themselves, that also adds a level of conviction in your faith to know that you are limitless. So now to carry that, it's just matters of time to unfold what I see.
That is very insightful. Thank you very much, Jay. We appreciate it.
God bless. Appreciate you, Joseph.
Jenna, great to see you.
Great to see you too, Joseph.
Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today. You have always so many exciting, insightful things to say. So we are excited to benefit from you greatly today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for having me in your program, because I've learned just so much through the mastermind. We call it the Heaven on Earth Club.
What an honor.
So, yeah. So I'm an embodiment coach, and I'm also a Pilates and yoga instructor. And I really take a nervous system approach. So it's my personal theory that we create consciously in the most aligned way when we come from a regulated nervous system state or a balanced and harmonious state. So in my personal experience and in my work with my clients, when I can get people into their bodies through movement, whether it's dance or yoga, then they are able to maybe release whatever may be restricting the flow. And so it enhances that flow in their being and then in their life. And then from that place, they're really able to consciously create whatever they desire. And that's really helped me a lot in my life as well. And I could tell a quick story just kind of about my experience with that.
Yes.
If that would be okay. So I actually used subconscious mind training to heal myself from OCD. And I use that training as a way to find my highest self and to access that. And it took me on a journey, which then helped me to recover from whatever was limiting me. And at that time, OCD was really limiting me, which is really just coming from anxiety. It was kind of like it was just an outlet that wanted expression. And when I was able to use kind of the same methods and techniques that I use with my clients through movement, through meditation, visualization, I was able to recover from something that was really limiting me in my life, and then step forward into my life in a much more healthy, balanced way. So it's pretty amazing, and that's why I'm so passionate about it now.
I love the integrated approach, very integrated approach. And having done that for yourself, now you benefit many also offering this. What would be an insight that someone could apply as they're watching this right now, where they could apply exactly, because maybe they too are experiencing OCD?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think kind of as you say, following the magic path of intuition, which came from Lawrence Scovel Shinn, but following your intuition, which will lead you to flow, which will lead you to, whatever you're seeking. And Joe Dispenza talks about this a lot too. He really focuses on healing health issues through subconscious mind training. But for me, it can be very simple as being in nature. Right now, I'm in the mountains, and I think that's something very simple and practical that people could do to enhance their flow and their connection to their intuition. Go for a walk in nature, feel their feet on the earth, feel their body, and listen to the call of the intuition.
I resonate with that very deeply. I actually have taken inventory of the various places in nature where I experience intuition, and I go to these places. There were times where I was stuck in, let's say, overthinking, or I didn't know the solution for a perceived challenge that I was dealing with at the time, where I took that step into one of those places. It could be a particular park. Sometimes it's even I book a flight and go to Mexico, or book a flight and go to California and actually go to a particular spot, and clarity arises. So it's wonderful that you have discovered a flow enhancer for you. So I encourage everyone to do that as well. How do you relate to that?
Yes, I relate to it very much, and I think it's wonderful.
Wonderful. So you help people discover these flow enhancers through your intuitive approach, having realized that this was so beneficial for you. Sometimes even the most, like, let's say, simple step usually is, I find, the simple step clears up everything, brings us back to stillness.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and you had inspired me to create a YouTube channel. So folks can go on there where I'm uploading videos every Friday. And I start with a kind of somatic movement meditation, followed by some either yoga or Pilates breath work. And so you can find me at Movement and Mindset with Jenna on my YouTube channel. And you can go there and follow some of those videos.
Thank you for echoing that. So as mentioned, everyone, in the beginning, I have in the description links to the various channels that were mentioned, etc. So if you feel inspired to connect with anyone here, I certainly encourage it. It's a wonderful group, and everyone here can, in their intuitive way, as you feel resonant to it, also bring you to the realization of living the way you truly desire to live, that it is the natural, authentic way to live. Certainly, Jenna is a living embodiment of that. We are all witnessing it right now.
Thank you so much, Joseph.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Danielle Lynn, thank you very much for joining us today.
You're welcome very much for joining today, Joseph. It's a delight to be here.
The delight is everyone.
Well, I'm very joyful to be here, and I'd be happy to share a little bit about myself and my resonance. So I'm Danielle Lynn, and at this moment, I am being an alchemist. And what I'll share about that, because that's sort of a fun term, is I help people merge the polarities in their lives, the practical and the magical, the emotional, and perhaps considering what's the opposite of emotional in this case. Let's say the emotional, the more grounded, in a more clear sense. A big part of the way that I move and I live through life at the present moment is I find myself being the right-hand facilitator of the creators, the entrepreneurs, and the visionaries of this world. The people who know they have a very clear resonance inside of themselves to live and express, but they are choosing to do so in extraordinarily practical ways so that they can also live their vision into reality. And what I have experienced in my life through my work is this fantastic, almost seemingly magical heaven on earth series of events that happens as we both allow ourselves to be fully in tune with who we are at our core level. I point to my heart because from my experience, we experience this at the center in our way of being. And through the understanding, through the discernment of these inspirations in our heart that inform the mind, that are also guided by the gut, we can do fantastic things in the world, such as build businesses, release music, make incredible collaborations, and build and live in the world we most want to exist in. And what I can say on that too is this is not something I just theorize. For a long time, I called my work reality creation. And I live my life as an experiment. I apply these principles to the movements of my life. So, for example, when I was curious about the amplification of money, I intuitively listened to what steps would need to be taken in order to do this. And at the time, I found myself in a series of steps that ultimately led me to co-running and building a multi-million-dollar marketing agency in which I amplified startups and other businesses. And it was a fantastic series of events because before that time, I had not had any of this experience or knowing that I would go in this direction. But I listened to and followed what the inspiration shared. From that point of time, I discovered that I cared deeply about what I was amplifying. And about 2 years ago, I made a commitment to flow-based living from the embodiment of my true values. From that point, many things in my life shifted because now my new foundational premise became very clear. And so one of the things that I teach and one of the things that I choose to embody is operating from this foundational principle of who you truly are. And in doing so, you can apply this seed to everything in your world, from your businesses, from your relationships. And so at this time, I have a YouTube channel where I hold conversations about embodiment and clarity. I host workshops and I work very selectively as a right hand for those who are bringing embodied change to the consciousness of this world, to their businesses, to their creative projects. And it is my fullest joy to do so and be so.
That is wonderful. I love the integrated approach. Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. You are tuned in, yet you went on a journey to this centering, we could say, or harmonious being. And now you get to share it with everyone through your YouTube channel. And what was fascinating as you started communicating from your experience, authenticity, is the channel seemed to have rapidly grown. And many are engaging with your channel and are connecting with what you're saying, because it speaks from the foundation of truth. I certainly witness it.
Appreciation, Joseph. I have experienced this as well. And it was very fantastic. And it was an interesting experience of living in the ends realized, because the premise when I decided to go all in with my channel was I knew that I simply was embodying the YouTube creator. And at the time, some of my videos when I started this journey were about maybe let's say 50 to 150 views. But in my mind's eye and in my heart and my gut, I simply knew with the fullness, with every cell in my body, that the resonant people would find this message at the resonant time. That every video I put out had purpose, had meaning, whether it was connecting with 1 or 1 million people. And so I applied that premise to every single video that I put out, with this knowing that it connects at the right place at right time. And then the practical experience of it was I also committed to putting out videos twice a week. I also committed to listening, connecting with the audience. And at this time, yes, it's rapidly growing. And we've also had the joy of holding a conversation together on the channel as well.
No link to the description. Thank you for
Yes.
echoing.
Yes. Very much so.
You are what I refer to on the channel, which was inspired by the book, The Science of Getting Rich, and you practically actualize it in your successes. Acting in a certain way, thinking in a certain way, which we could say being the way you are.
Yes.
Clear. And thank you for sharing your inspiration and stories, insights, and perspectives on your channel. I definitely encourage everyone to enjoy these videos because they are a joy. As they are transformative, you have this ability, I refer to it as artful communication or artful autosuggestion. That is a result of, it naturally arises, the words naturally arise from the foundation.
Yes.
Foundation I am, as I refer to.
Yes. Thank you so much, Joseph.
Living embodiment.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate that. And, you know, I feel inspired to, yes, invite anyone who feels really resonant with viewing these videos, because they are created and designed not only to be shared stories, but I intend activations to come from those who view them, who feel drawn to them. So if you do feel drawn, there's likely something there for you. And I would love to know, Joseph, I feel inspired to ask, because I feel you'll have a wonderful suggestion. What sort of story do you think might be of best service right now? It'll be a story from my experience, but at this precise moment, do you feel a certain kind of story?
I like the Flow Master story. We did
the Flow Master story.
Link to the description. I love the in relation to that, because I met Adam. I would love to hear the Adam story in relation to the book.
Yes. Let's share that. So, well, first I'll just briefly mention, Flow Master. So we've had the good fortune of connecting together in person as well. And we've had the good fortune of having some journeying, some traveling, through California and in some of the flow-based places. And one of the things I've noticed about our interactions is as we move, we flow in conversation, but we also flow in synchronicity with the environment around us. And at the time we were in conversation, and we were talking a bit about being in flow and the joy of being in the flow and the nature of it itself. And at the time we were in a car and coming up to another car, and then right in front of us was a truck with some emblems on it. And in front of each Joseph and myself, it simply said, Flow Master on the back of the car. So we each received from our journey a Flow Master award from the car in front of us that happened to perfectly line up with what we were talking about in that moment, which
Yes.
which was
A wonderful
delightful.
synchronicity, right?
It was. We had a
That's
good laugh about that. The Flowmaster Award by the truck. And well, you know, I joke by the truck, but by the synchronicity of the reality in which we find ourselves and the awareness and the conversation with which we lend ourselves to. And the story I'll share in flow with Adam. And so Adam is my wonderful partner, and our experience of meeting has been a very flow-based one. And I'll share very simply, this is actually a wonderful story because this is not one I have shared publicly until this moment, but Adam is someone who I magnetized, I would almost say magnetized in my life, because I came out of a relationship several years back and I decided I would be very precise about the current relationships I'm stepping into. And what I did was I wrote down very precisely what I was magnetizing into my life, list of items. And then I also, with myself, created space to be with myself, to be in the magnetism of who I was and the embodiment of the partner that I would choose to be as well. So as I did both of these things, I would tune in regularly and just feel the essence of the partnership I was stepping into, because it wasn't so much about just focusing on a person. It was about cultivating the energy of how I was going to show up as well. And it was about being in the energy of that magnetism. And as I did, and this is what I teach people as well, because we are in the alchemy, we're in the process of both being and doing. It's not one or the other. It is an active presence existence with life. And so what I went ahead and did and be is, as I was in this resonance of knowing this relationship was, whenever it connected with me across time and space, I would just listen. And then one day I had this inspiration out of nowhere to download an app. I never download these apps, but I just had this inspiration. It just came to me. I downloaded this app, an app for connecting with people. And as I did, I sat there. I was like, this is such a weird thing. I'm connecting with this app. And then one day I just saw him, and I just saw this person, and I'm like, immediately connected with him, immediately messaged him, immediately continued on these steps, and he immediately messaged me, and he was just like, and then what happened from there was I discovered he only lived 13 minutes from me. It turned out we had all these incredible synchronicities. We had alignments of even levels of our birthday. We had all these crazy alignments, but most importantly, we found a deep resonance and connection that has continued to unfold over time with layers of synchronicity. And the core of it is each of us had made a commitment to being the embodiment of ourselves before we connected to another. And as such, we've been experiencing the wholeness in ourselves amplified with each other. And this is an envisionment of relationships I love for all of us, whether it's perceived romantic or business or your friend. This is what I perceive we can do and be. It's not about trying to pretend you're anything beyond human. It's being the most human you are, every element and aspect of you. And there's something in that that is so genuine and full and complete that you can show up with another in your wholeness. And that joy is amplified. All right. He's also
Wonderful.
super cool and does art. So there you go.
Thank you for that. And the book that you had wrote the list was, what was the book?
Yes. So are you talking about the book that I wrote where I summoned him?
Yes.
The book is actually a book called Project 369. And that was another fantastic synchronicity because, funny enough, that book was in part, there's a mention in there that the author who created it was inspired in part by your work as well, Joseph. So,
and then synchronistically, I connected you both the last few days, and
yes,
then now the synchronicities continue as they always do.
So,
A result of being in the flow And you don't need to take my word for it. You got the Flow Master Award. Source.
Appreciation, Joseph. Thank you so much. I continue to enjoy the flow and synchronicity. It's an honor to be here and share.
Likewise, thank you for being a member of Flow-Based Prosperity and benefiting everyone with your presence, and now benefiting everyone through your YouTube channel, and benefiting everyone here through this wonderful conversation that you graciously shared. Various, very insightful realizations from practical experience that I trust will benefit everyone watching this greatly. Thank you very much. Kate, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here.
We are all excited and blessed to hear the wisdom that you're going to share with us today from personal experience.
Thank you. And yes, I was just saying too that I'm very inspired by all the conversations that have been shared so far.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm so happy that they are contributing to your flow. So I would love to know, I mean, I know you personally, but everyone would love to know who is Kate? What does Kate do? Who does she do it for? And perhaps if you feel inspired to do so, share an inspiring story, whatever shows up synchronistically for you that you trust will benefit everyone greatly.
Well, yes, I've done taken on a lot of roles throughout my lifetime, as all of us have. And I would say, at least in probably the last few years or so, the unifying theme has been generate magic. And generate magic, it is the name of my company, but I would say it's more than a company. It's a way of life for me, and it's a philosophy. And it's something that I feel just kind of, just wraps up everything that I do. And yeah, so the name Generate Magic came about because, well, originally it started as a blog back, I believe, in 2017. And I was trying to think of a good name for the blog that really just kind of encapsulated everything that I was about. And so generate is something, it's an active process. It's something that you do. And then the magic is something that comes from you. And so it's all about generating the magic within you. And so the important point that I want to emphasize is that it's not creating something out of nothing. And it's not a trick. It's not pulling rabbits out of hats. But it's kind of bringing out this innate magic that all of us have within us. And it really it's hard to kind of like describe this in a linear process because life itself is not really linear. And I think it really kind of emerged as throughout most of my life, just not accepting myself and feeling like the only way I could be okay with myself was through external accomplishments. And so then when I discovered spirituality, I thought it was just this kind of magic fix-it solution, and that it would be a way to kind of fix everything that I didn't like about myself in my life. And I tried pretty much every modality there is, and pretty much every big name that you can think of when it comes to like spiritual teachers. Like I tried them, I follow their teachings. And I just found myself getting more and more frustrated. And I realized that the answers were within me all along. And I know we hear that a lot. We often kind of hear people say the answers are within you. And sometimes, I know, at least for me, this is my experience, that it can be very frustrating. And because it's kind of like, well, okay, I know it's within me, but where does that get me? But I found through the process of generating and just through living and I personally don't think we were meant just to sit in a cave and meditate our whole lives. And it's just through the process of just living our lives, that's kind of where the magic is unleashed. And so and it's a very kind of handy solution because then everything becomes a way of unleashing the magic within you, even things that you would perceive as being a failure or a mistake.
Everything is magical.
Exactly. I'm really kind of drawn to creative processes like creative writing and dance music. And so those are different ways for me of kind of generating magic. And I I love doing what I call my dance meditation, where I just put on some dance music and I kind of get into a meditative state. And but for every single person it's different. So it's not like there's a one size fits all formula.
I love that you mentioned that. For each person, it's different. There may be those that have similarities, yet even with those similarities, there might be some nuanced distinctions. For example, you dance into a meditative way of being or meditative state, let's say, and the choice of music as well, right?
Absolutely.
And this is part of the learning, the way I relate to what you shared about magic, is about learning your magic. I believe each of us have infinity superpowers, yet building this relationship within to how we operate authentically is an integral approach, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And you articulated precisely dance, meditation, particular music. You also had gone and tried a lot of different things. Did you find that everything that you tried somehow, maybe some pieces were integrated and then you found your style? Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
So I love that one of the things that I experienced with you is you encourage an integrated approach and also exploring, trying
Yes.
things out, being curious. It's in flow, we say it's a reconciliation. Being in flow is a reconciliation of divergent thinking and convergent thinking. There are times where we may converge step-by-step process. You and I are a fan of direct response marketing, consultative selling, and copyright. And also, we may diverge, try out a lot of different things. When integrated, we have a harmonious being, a lateral approach, sometimes it's referred to, harmonious being, which actually integrates it into a magic expression, which through what you do also, which is copywriting for businesses, direct response marketing, it flows into a wonderful form of communication that speaks deeply and precisely to those that you're communicating with. And so it was wonderful that you had drawn from many inspirations, because that will allow you to, as we mentioned earlier, communicate in an artful way, not necessarily forcing it in one direction. Actually, I don't encourage it, but allowing that communication to flow. How do you relate to that?
Absolutely. And what I really found is that you can integrate all of it. And none of
I love
it,
that. You can integrate all of it.
yes.
I like the challenge of actually, if one area does not seem integratable, to actually take on that opportunity and find
Yes,
relatability. And I always do. You find that?
absolutely. And also what I found is that none of it is a waste
Yes.
because so often I would kind of regret like spending a lot of time pursuing a certain endeavor that didn't really pan out the way that I had hoped, thinking, why did I waste all my time and all my energy? But realizing that all of it is like a tapestry and it all fits together, even if you can't really see it in the moment. And just like if you look at a painting or if you look at a work of fiction, and there's going to be, well, let's take a painting, right? So there's going to be light areas and dark areas, or like in a work of fiction, there's a lot of emotional trajectories, and the character goes through lots of ups and downs, but somehow all of it fits together. And at the same time, every single piece is essential.
That is wonderful. Well, thank you very much for sharing your magic powers with us. and your superpowers, we can also say, with us in very insightful discussion, which is very rich with a number of things that I'm thinking of right now, but this is actually worth listening to a number of times. Because when someone goes through a very multidimensional way of life where they try a lot of things, they tend to communicate a lot of nuances from those experiences, which are integrated harmoniously into the conversation. And that is what I enjoy. One of the things that I enjoy when I have conversations with you, Kate. Thank you very much for sharing that with me. Griffin, very good to see you. How are you doing?
Wonderful to see you as well, Joseph. Wonderful to see everyone here and hear these amazing stories. So this amazing story I have to share today is it just blew my mind. As you may remember from a couple of days ago, we were talking and I was very concerned. You said, oh, I'm going to post this thing up there. You can share all your links. And I said, oh, I don't have this social media that's like ready and everything like that. There's a lot of things I need to work on. And so I didn't get very much sleep trying to use the force-based everything in order to figure out, what do I have to do? Not even knowing that this might not actually be posted for a couple of weeks until after this even we record this. So I was in that land, and ironically, that actually forced me to tap into some of these inner resources, these resources, these acres of diamonds I did not know that I had, by believing that I had these false constraints. And so it's like all of these affirmations that I've listened to you, and I've listened to affirmations I've built based on what you've done. And Mika was very helpful as well, encouraging me to use 11 Labs, for example, encouraging that from us. Listening to these for years, and it's almost like all of these things are simultaneously coming true at the same time, like today, like before this call, which is really trippy. So I basically, I might as well get into what I've been doing. I've been a member of this community on school.com. I've been a member of Sam Alvin's Consulting Accelerator, which teaches people how to do online coaching and consulting, solopreneurship very efficiently. And then Andrew Kirby's Synthesizer School. He's a student of Sam Alvin's, and he's actually bought one of your products. I just found out today. And that's all about content creation. But I was never creating content because I never actually felt aligned with what I was creating, what I was doing. And last year I said, there's something about the concept of like Ikigai and helping people come into their alignment and using all these tools, these subconscious programming tools that I just feel are so flow-based and fun. Like I just love it so much. And it would be wonderful if I could do this. But then I'm thinking to myself, like, I haven't actually done anything. So it's kind of hard. Like, how do I actually monetize something like that? Yada, 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 yada. I'm thinking, without having a large audience or a lot of people to talk to, I'm like, how can I even get this out to like anybody? And then it occurred to me, I was like, wait, okay, Joseph is having us on this thing where we can actually talk about what we're working on, what we're passionate about, what we love, to a lot of people. And so I said, okay, well, then maybe I actually can tell people about this thing. So yes. I've been doing this learning and education on school.com. And school.com is basically created to help people. It's like super, super flow-based and easy, one of the easiest websites I've ever used to host content communities and to teach people there. And so I actually reserved a long time ago, like school.com/ikigai, not knowing exactly what I could do with that. But I want to actually share my insights and my perspectives and all these things I found, like I mentioned before, Vedic astrology and human design. I actually found out that looking into these things, it says like all of these things about myself, people said were wrong, that I shouldn't be doing. They're all exactly what I'm basically meant to be doing. So it's super clear. And so I can actually combine all of these tools from most of what you've mentioned. I can combine the mentorship that I've learned from the business people there. That's Sam Ovens and Andrew Kirby, who's the person I've become closest to today. We were just chatting in like a little metaverse conversation. Everyone's in these little like breakout rooms in this 8-bit 2D thing, and we could see each other's little cameras when you walk near somebody. Then everybody was like playing go-karts, and I was like, Andrew, what am I going to do? I'm going on here, and actually I've networked with everybody on the site. I haven't created anything, but I've like been one of the top users of the site, just talking to everybody. And finally, I started talking to like the guy who's the top on this leaderboard, and I was like, "Oh, you're in Australia. You're gonna be awake right now. I've been up all night. I haven't slept." And I was like, "What do I do?" And he's like, "Oh." He's like, you don't have like a business right now. You don't have all this content. And he's like, make a free group. Just invite people to that. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, everyone can just come to school.com/Yikigai and like the
And I will
first
link
wave
in
of
the
people.
description. I will link in the
Yeah,
description.
it's link in the description. Exactly. It's definitely going to be free. And actually, what I actually invite is for it to become a co-creative experience where, like, you know, one of the first thing that comes to my mind, and actually everyone's all got the ingredients here. I really like how like Mika knows all these things he's been mentioning with like AI, and that's already been useful. And I'm wondering what else he can do. Like, I don't know how to do everything. And the cool thing is, I don't have to do everything. I can kind of sit here and DJ and like shepherd the vibes and just be here and help make this thing happen. And so when you look at all this stuff like human design, I can literally just chill. Everything, all these synchronicities, like you said it, and some of the mentors, I'm actually going to get to meet this guy later this month, randomly all coming true at the same time. All these wild synchronicities. And there were synchronicities today with every single person who was involved, who I just talked to today, like before this call, in how this all came together. And it's that wild. It's been my whole life. I've seen the evidence of these synchronicities, but they've never actually all come true like at the same time, where I actually am like, oh, okay. Yeah, now it's actually really clear. Like everything will come together really, really, really well and probably effortlessly. And yet all these people have been telling me that. And today I just got so many other confirmations that just say, hey, you know, no matter what, this is going to be happening. Oh, there's this new secret feature is going to roll out. All of these things just like support this. So it's
Everything
so
happens ideally automatically in your favor. I feel your flow. We all feel your flow. Thank you for sharing your flow with us.
It's wonderful.
It multiplies the synchronicities. Thank you for multiplying the synchronicities.
Mm-hmm. And we just want everyone to be able to I find it's very tricky. Like there's a lot of people I've talked to who they want to make it with this online business thing because you know it can create freedom. You know that you can choose what you want to do when you're directing yourself. It's a very great way to be an ikigai, but a lot of people don't like there's a lot of trouble. People don't actually understand a lot of these things, and I'm so good at explaining things. I love explaining them. I love teaching. So it's like I feel really good that I can teach and just invite other people because it's a co-creative experience. School's not just a place where there's one teacher and many students. It's the community of people together. So we can help anybody and everybody build stuff here and have a great time.
Well, thank you very much for sharing. We appreciate you.
And thank you, and shout out to Ryan from GIF because he requested that I shout him out, and everybody else, so many other people that are awesome as well.
Wonderful. All right, we will talk soon, all right? Mika, welcome.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Happy to be here.
We are happy to be here with you and enjoy this conversation with you.
Awesome. I'm so happy that you are giving us this opportunity. So happy to speak with so many flow-based persons like watching this channel.
It's amazing, right? How everybody appears to be this way in synchronicity.
Yes, love it.
I would love to know more so. I've gotten to know you over the series of months. Everyone would love to know you, what you do, who you do it for, and if you feel inspired to do so. An inspiring story riddled with insights and perspectives that we can explore that can benefit everyone. Are you up for that?
100%. Thank you. So what I love to do is to help entrepreneurs get even more flow with AI tools and getting flow-based prosperity using the latest technology. So I started using GPT before it went out to the public. And I really actually, in the start, I used it for auto-suggestions. So I think it's so funny that, and also very flow-based, to be able to write to GPT a little bit about myself and my goals and my visions. And I can actually make it speak out the very best flow-based affirmations and I am statements. So yeah, I really love that. So now I'm helping entrepreneurs and companies with AI. So that entails AI caller solutions, onboarding, AI automations, emails, and so on.
Well, thank you for providing such a wonderful service. Many can benefit greatly from your expertise. I certainly have. I have incorporated more so, and it has saved a lot of resources in actually integrating it, but then also laying the foundation for what is to come next. Because one of the things that I find with AI is that once you start to integrate it in a way that's supportive, then you find new technologies or new ways of integrating it in a way that's further supportive so you could do what you love to do. And you're a master at facilitating that with others, that conversation.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it's I remember when you talk about automate, delegate, and like I get so happy when you say that. So and I think there's a lot of potential. I see many business owners already using ChatGPT. However, I see a huge potential in unlocking the value inside of AI by integrating it into business processes. So I have this website called mika.cloud where you can book a call with me, where I'm so happy to have a flow-based conversation where we explore how you can utilize AI in your business.
Thank you very much for sharing. We will link to that in the description. What is a insightful, inspirational story, something related to AI, perhaps being part of flow-based prosperity, anything that you feel that you would like to share that will benefit everyone as well?
I think after starting in the community, it's amplified the synchronicities and flows in my life on so many deep levels. Like when I signed up, I really knew that this was a point in my life. It would take another direction. So I'm so grateful to be able to be in contact with such amazing people. And it's such a flow enhancer. So
And in
I
result of your partnerships, business deals, you're thriving now. Wonderful.
yes, it's
You did not start.
I'm really happy for that. Okay, so one story is because I started using ChatGPT around 2 years before it became public with a tech license. And I was building interesting stuff. I was creating blog posts and I were creating rap songs, metaphysical rap songs. I thought that was quite cool. And like I threw so much interesting at it. But like after 1.5, almost 2 years, I was watching the television with my grandparents. And I'm not often looking at television. I rather look at flow-based YouTube sometimes. So, and I'm looking at the television and they're presenting this Chat GPT. So I was like, oh, this was my private technology. And now I saw it went public. But what I realized afterwards, because that was
One of the earlier adopters.
What?
You're one of the earlier adopters of the technology.
Yeah, and I thought I was just going to have it for myself. Just joking. But what I realized is that you have to know what to ask. So ask and you shall receive.
Yes.
So when you realize that you can do really great prompt engineering, and when you know what to ask for in GPT in relation to your business and your process and your marketing, when you learn to integrate those different sources, then you're able to get so much better results on so many levels. So that's my main point here.
I find that to be the case as well. I adjust my prompts. I've been working with images with DALL-E as well. And I continue to get better at articulating the prompts to get very precise responses, and even then from the responses, further articulate my prompts. And it's a wonderful thing to do. So thank you for encouraging that with us. I know you're a master of it because you've shared many prompts that you've created, because over the years of applying this, you have collections and collections of prompts, not to overwhelm people, but if applicable, if you see a benefit for them in their business, you gladly share and then further refine it with them in a way that's integrated harmoniously into their business. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say. As a flow enhancer. So I want people
And
to
always a flow-based way, right? I'm
yeah,
a fan of this as well because I had an IT business from 2009 to 13. Prior to that, I did 10 years in corporate. I'm from this same way of being, the foundational way of being, authenticity, that when a technology goes in place, it is supportive, not restrictive, not flow restricting, but flow enhancing. So I love that you always integrate in a flow-based way during your whatever it is that you do. You know, whether it's consulting, whether it's talking to yourself, out and about with your friends, you've shared many stories. You are living the flow-based way. Thank you for
that's
sharing
awesome.
with us today.
Thank you so much. It was really flow-based.
It's great to see you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Joseph. Thanks for having me. It's like exciting to be here, and yeah, I'm ready to get into the flow.
Wonderful. We are blessed to flow with you. Would you be interested in sharing about yourself, what you do, who you do it for, and then we can flow with that? Sounds good?
Yes, sounds amazing. Yeah, so who I am, I'm Oz Yamel. I'm in the fitness and health and also in the real estate industry. So it's been exciting to be a part of this flow-based journey with everyone here, because part of what I've been trying to learn, or part of what I've been learning, is how to integrate so many skills and how it's not just one thing sometimes, you know. And I like this statement that we talk about many times, is it depends. So yeah, just
I love
be,
it.
go ahead.
Didn't mean to interrupt the flow, but the answer is depends. Thank you for echoing that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that, you know, releasing into the flow has been important for me, and learning this journey. And also that's like into what I do, and bringing people into the fitness world and realize it is a flow-based journey. And it's just looking at what you're doing now and being able to incorporate small parts. Recently, my partner and I have been introducing a flow-based fitness series with yoga and strength training. And it's just like that perfect example of how you can bring um, you know, different things in your life together to be complementary, even though you might not always see the connection between the two. And who we do it for is like really people looking to be in the fitness space, and uh, you know, have more health in their life. You know, I know we talk about wealth and entrepreneurship, and I think one of those components in spirituality is your health and the way you move. And it is the vessel that we're in. And I feel like the more health, comfort, and flow you have in your physical self, it definitely helps in the spiritual, mental, and emotional self. So there's this, you know, ongoing connection between the two. And even to further, you know, harmonize that, I like what some of us already shared, is like being outside. I mean, that's such a huge part. Like, I love that, you know, Jenna was like in front of the mountain. Like, I agree with you. I felt the same way. I was like, man, that's it right there. You know, because being a health coach and being in the health industry, you know, a lot of it is, you know, sometimes in the inside, but really once you go outside, I think you're tapping into something much greater, much more significant. You know, you're helping bring Mother Nature in to support you in that flow, in that creation, and, you know, reminder of all those things. You know, even with creating our outdoor series, sometimes like weather comes up and you have to be in the flow with that too. You know, Mother Nature is always teaching us, so it's the beautiful thing. um yeah, and why I do it, I mean, I think it's so important, you know, with just the people around me, my community, my family. And I see that, you know, with uh health and movement and quality of life, it can be something that where when you are having successes in other parts of your life, if you don't have the health in place, sometimes it can be a limiter. So I think really being able to have that conversation with others and show examples. And really, I think what we're talking about here is being the example is super beneficial. And also taking a flow-based approach to it, right? There is no, like, it's kind of like one of those things, like I'm working with my mom right now, and it's like wherever she is right now is perfect, and it's like just step by step, we're all, doing the best we can.
I love that you said that. Wherever she is right now is perfect. Now is where all the power is. And you're a master at this because you are willing to, and graciously so, work with the elements. You brought up rain. If it rains, let's integrate that into the workout.
Yes. Yes.
I would love to
Yeah.
explore a story you shared recently. You went live with your girlfriend.
Yeah, that was that's been, I think we talk another conversation we have here is like resistance, and we're all trying to reach work on the things that we have opportunities on. And I would say that like being on camera and like kind of posting is something that I'm building more strength and confidence around. And I think partnership and relationships can really help that. Like this flow-based mastermind has been amazing. Like even on this call today, like all the energy and flow that I'm feeling from everyone and just like the way we support each other is just, yeah, it's super special. And I get the same from my partner. She's the same. She encourages me and she's like, all right, we're going to advertise this, offering that we have coming and we're going to do an IG live. So I'm like, all right, trust the flow. I'm not going to think about it. And, we're just sitting in front of the camera and she turns it on. And, I actually like, truthfully, like when I was sitting there, I was just like thinking about, it was like her and I just like talking to one person and talking about someone we could, talking to someone we could help and who would show up. And it was just like, not like everyone, it was just like one person. Like if I'm there talking to my mom or talking to you and saying, hey, come out and join us. We have a offering, to be outdoors, one with nature, to move, have fun, build your health, and get connected. And it was amazing. It turned out well. Just definitely in the flow, even with mistakes, you kind of laugh and it kind of humbles you a little bit, and then you even get more authentic, right? You're even less in your head, you're just speaking clear, speaking from your heart. And it really came across very authentic. So it was such an encouraging experience. It just goes to show, you just take one step and you just do the thing, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And, we're all growing, and in each step we take, we'll learn from. And as a matter of fact, I can report back to you that we did have the class. It was Thursday. It was a success. The weather was beautiful. Everyone loved it. It was fun and flow based. And, the really amazing part about it too is like we got this really big inspiration where, we were like starting the class, and then we actually had this tie-in where we were like, oh, like we just had the class Thursday, but we could like tie it in with like moving into like the full moon cycle. So it's like building up, which is like part of what it is. And it is called the Sun and Moon series, to work in and work out. So then all of a sudden, when we kind of had the realization of tying it in with the moon cycle, and then we knew which days to pick, and then we were able to fill out our whole schedule. And then once we fill out our whole schedule for the offerings for the year, we then were able to come to the realization like, oh, this will be in alignment with like the retreat we want to run in Jamaica. So then we really started to have this whole like advertising campaign and offering out, and we posted it on social media, and like people have been responding already. It's like, it's even interesting. Like we didn't even announce the Jamaica date and we're already getting interest, and we're like, oh, we were just trying to get people to sign up for the series. But I mean, it's just, I think everything that everyone's talking about here today and the practices about flow and taking the next step and letting things reveal itself is, I mean, it's true. It's definitely true.
That was wonderfully insightful, very inspiring. Thank you for inspiring the stepping into the flow, relaxing into the flow, and then you're in the synchronicities or witnessing the synchronicities, and everything appears to be in your favor. This deal shows up, this next idea shows up, this person shows up, they show up. Weather may change, but you improvise and it ends up, ideally, you align with everything physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually as one, experientially. You are an embodiment of that
Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, that's the word that comes up is like flow and ease. Like the ease was like so resonant, like the amount of ease that came. It's like, oh, it's like you almost like sometimes you thought that there might have to be like like more like effort, but it was effortless. It was like once it was like the first step, and taking that step had a little bit of, there was some work into it, but it's like once you took that first step, it was like then the ease really, you invited the ease in.
Wonderful. As I always teach, one step right now, presence. Next step reveals itself. It always does, certainly. Be present to this step. Right now, I am enjoying this conversation with you. It is enormously insightful. We are enjoying this conversation together. We all are. Next step arises. Next step arises. That's what I felt as you're communicating this story with us. So through you living this way, you inspired this, what I say now, which I can, let's say, always hear more of. Because to be a limit to to the degree that we can be present. Do you find that?
Yes. Agreed.
And as we are present, we are aligned with the synchronicities and they flow.
Yep.
And we walk
really
the path of intuition, as you
definitely
are exemplifying. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Peter, we are so blessed and joyous to engage in this conversation with you.
Well, thank you, Joseph. It's been a real honor to be part of this mastermind group that you established. My name is Peter Sheehan. I grew up on an island, Newport, Rhode Island, on the East Coast, and I've always been around the ocean. Early on, I started reading the books that we refer to a lot. Napoleon Hill was the first person that I could see that was a mastermind group. And he'd say, get 4 or 5 people together. You have really opened up that universe literally to the world of getting a mastermind group of people together with different ideas and thoughts. And it really is stimulating. My journey really started years ago. I was having such a tough time with my life, and I just didn't understand why. I'd say a little prayer at night to try and figure it out. And one morning I woke up and the answer was the ocean reveals the truth. I think I got the message because I instantly understood the implication of what it meant. The ocean or the truth doesn't care, wants to embrace you all the time, but to navigate a successful life, you have to be a good captain of your own ship. So if you think of yourself as a boat on the ocean, what the ocean is revealing to you is your understanding of truth. And I believe that truth is the ultimate tool in building a successful life. We do talk about flow base a lot, and occasionally you have to go against the flow. If you're in a sailboat, for example, and you want to go into the wind, you have to tack back and forth in different directions to arrive at your destination. So sometimes it's the difficult course or direction, but to get where you want to go, sometimes that's necessary. And I think as far as tools, I think I want to have a mechanical version of what is the truth, because everyone seems to have their own version of it. This way, if you accept the ocean reflects the truth or reveals the truth to you, and you want to be a good navigator, you can do it. Learn how to navigate your boat correctly with the direction that you take. So I've kind of gone back and forth with that. And I'm actually working with Kate. We're going to evolve the story a little bit more. Her writing skills are excellent. Help put that together. So that's kind of my direction. You know, we all become what we think about, and that's the Earl Nightingale's story. and attitude is everything. So, but the ocean doesn't care if you're an atheist or you need to understand that trying to accept the truth in your life and how the ocean reveals it to you. So that's kind of the direction. And I wrote a book, Embrace the Power of Truth, and I'm doing a series of children's books, PJ the Light Boat.
Which we'll link to in the description.
But yes, appreciate that.
I absolutely love ocean revealing. I relate very, very, very deeply with that, as I have experienced profound insights by the water.
Yes.
Places where there are waves. Speaking of, you brought up Earl Nightingale. I love running when I go to California, Redondo Beach by the water there. Wonderful insights. I resonate very deeply with what you're sharing.
Well, it's our connection. We're all built with the same chemicals as the ocean, and once we're one little drop in the ocean, we're all connected, all of us, and it's how we can work together. And your mastermind series here, connecting the people, we're at the very, very beginning of a learning process that as human beings, we're evolving. And I think your group is really bringing that to the forefront and really exploring those. We can have instant change on some things by getting our minds together. I feel it all the time.
Yeah, it's what he referred to as the third mind. Perfect example, you and Kate. Everyone in the group has been connecting with each other.
Yeah.
And sharing like this, as we say, no shame, condemnation, we share. We engage in conversations. Then the third mind arises insights, perspectives. The ocean, right? The ocean provides the insights, perspectives. Clarity arises. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're part of something that is universally correct.
This is very insightful. You have, and thank you for this, deepen my relationship with the ocean, which is your intention also through the books,
yes.
Through your embodiment and what you share with your information. I experience it now. I trust everyone experiences this as well, experiences what we're discussing here practically. This is how you communicate your magic, speaking as Kate had mentioned earlier. We have ways of being magical, we could say.
Yes.
You have an ability, I've certainly seen it, we're experiencing it right now, to communicate through stories and relating it to the ocean. How wonderful.
Well, thank you. I hope we all can just dream, think, and create. That's how I got my story, first through an actual dream, or you can daydream, start using your mind to think, and then create something.
As James Allen also said, dreamers are the saviors of the world.
Yes.
Thank you, Peter. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much.
Hilary, we are so excited to enjoy this conversation with you today. Thank you for being here.
Me too. Absolutely. It's been a fantastic conversation so far, and listening to everybody's stories is amazing, as it is every week when we all meet. So yeah.
We do it twice a week. And we
absolutely. I know this is bonus to get to talk to everybody again this week.
And everyone knows that the members here today, the conversations we're having are some of the members who chose to participate in this conversation.
Yes.
It wasn't mandatory. We chose to be here. We also engage in these kinds of conversations Mondays and Thursdays. Thank you for echoing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think everybody has kind of mentioned how those conversations, which are flow-based, because we don't really know what we're going to talk about and we don't know where it's going to go, but every week we say, God, the synchronicities, that's just what I was thinking today, and somebody will say that. So it's fantastic how we all kind of bounce off ideas off each other. It's been great. So basically, my name is Hilary Roach. I'm based in Ireland, and I'm involved in property, mainly. I renovate properties for myself, for my clients, for either sale or rent. But the one thing that has always been in the back of my mind, which has been amazing being in this group, that has really helped me work on, is I've, over the years, as I renovate properties and work with different clients, I kind of hear, unfortunately, horror stories that people have when they renovate properties, and they can fall into some of the pitfalls and expense and overwhelm of renovating properties. And I was always thinking, I wish there was some way I could share the knowledge that I have with people before they start the renovation, that would help them avoid falling into these traps and maybe overspending or getting overwhelmed. And so that's something, it's a kind of a pivot in my business, and it's something that I've been working on getting up and running, which it is now. But one of the things, as I've shared in this group many times, is my preferred way of meeting clients and doing business is in person and face to face, which during COVID, I realized this is going to be a problem, because there was no building sites open, nobody was renovating, and we were shut down essentially like the rest of the world. So I wanted to kind of set up an online version of what I like to do day to day, which I have done now. So I have a website set up, and I have clients dotted in different places all over the world, which is amazing.
Congratulations on rolling that out.
Yeah, it's incredible. Mind blown, really. But also what I had been reluctant to do was start a YouTube channel, which, as I said, I have shared many times in this group. I really was reluctant to do that. I have done it now. And as we were talking about, I have a series of videos ready to go. And it has been far more flow-based than I could even have imagined. I've enjoyed it way more than I could have even imagined. And, you know, because I've been doing this for so long, renovating, obviously not YouTube, just the information just tends to flow. And I kind of pick a topic or two that I want to talk about, and you know, let it flow basically, and hope that information, you know, will be of use to whoever's, you know, in that space that you know, maybe planning a home renovation. So that's been an absolute revelation for me. Again, it's new, but it has been, the process has not been as difficult as I thought it was going to be. So that's a win for me.
Big celebration. Thank you very much for sharing that and inspiring everyone. I actually encourage everyone to start a YouTube channel if they feel inspired. So it could be TikTok, it could be Instagram.
Yeah.
I know certainly everyone that I've met in life has valuable information to share, and does it in a distinct way that speak to a very specific audience. I am going to link to the description to your channel.
Yeah.
So you took that step, and one of the things that you shared with us throughout our discussions is the way you related to the resistance as it arose. Would you be interested in sharing with us?
Yeah, I mean, the resistance that I had to actually not just YouTube, it was social media in general, and not wanting to do it, not wanting for some strange reason, you know, start it or embrace it, and actually not wanting to do it was taking up so much headspace and real estate in my head that when I started this group, it was one of the first things that I shared was my reluctance to do it, because I really wanted to get over it. And being part of this group and with how everybody else shared, it was pretty obvious that there's nothing wrong with social media or YouTube. It's an amazing place to share. It was obviously my resistance to it. So how I got over it was I just scheduled all of my social media posts on Canva, which is an amazing resource. And I schedule everything well in advance. And I'm actually doing the same with YouTube. I've created a couple of video series, and I have everything scheduled. And it actually takes the pressure of having posts or videos ready or being concerned about what I should talk about. But the interesting thing is, the more videos I make, the more notes I'm now making that I now need to maybe expand on something or explain something a little bit better that I didn't cover in a video. And it's helping me to get a good batch of information that I feel may be of use to somebody that is in the position of embarking or planning a home renovation. So yeah, that's been incredible. But as I said, the crux of it was everybody here sharing, and obviously ChatGPT, which I never knew anything about, has been amazing for prompts. Jay was talking about it. Mika obviously knows a lot about it. And then obviously these guys sharing their information, helping me and everybody else in the group. And then we're all sort of finding different ways to automate and make the process so much easier that I would never have known about. I would have been still pushing a rock up a hill had I not, joined the group and just got the expertise. Everybody else sharing their expertise has been incredible. Amazing, actually.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences. I love that you set up some automation and took care of the resistance. You joined the group. We remained in our flow. Clarity arose. Wait, I'll just put up some automation, take care of everything for you. And then while it does what it does, staging and automating everything, you focus on what you love to do, sharing your expertise. You put out the video, then afterwards you watch the video, you take some notes. I may talk about it this way next time. Ooh, I can talk about this other topic. Ooh, I can expand upon this other area. That's the flow of creating content. I do that. I've been doing this for years. Every single week, 3 videos a week. I feel inspired with each video that I put out. After the video, I do the same thing. You've discovered this. The creative flow of any form of creative expression. Here we're speaking specifically about YouTube. It could be any form of creative expression. You put out the video or the art piece, or you dance that routine. Then after that, you witness it. You say, oh, I'm going to add a little bit of this, take away a little bit of that. Have fun with it. It's joyous. And through that, you keep doing that. Everyone benefits greatly from that information that you share. And if they feel inspired to do so, they resonate with what you're sharing, your style of doing things, they reach out to you.
Yeah, exactly. And just the automation piece, like you said, it cured the resistance, but like you say, it just leaves more space to do what you want to do, whether it's, regardless, it just gives that headspace to create and talk about what you want to talk about. And I don't need to think about, how am I going to do it, because it's just automated. It's fantastic. And I also made a promise to myself when I was starting to do YouTube that if I made a mistake, or if I stumbled or stuttered or whatever, it's staying in. It's staying as it is, because if I start to try and perfect it, I'll put too many blocks in the way and I won't do it. And then I'm just not going to share the information that I feel will be of benefit to, my niche, my target market. So
I love that. That's gold.
Imperfection it is.
Wow. Very insightful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tammy, it is wonderful and joyous to enjoy this conversation with you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Great day, great day. So excited to be here and share about what I'm discovering in the mastermind group. Just to introduce myself, I'm Dr. Tammy White Jolivet, CEO and founder of The Texture of Me. And The Texture of Me is bringing the awareness of the mental barriers and and psychological implications that hair discrimination has on people with textured hair. The services that we do offer is diversity, equity, inclusion training, CE credits, and texture hair education and coaching. And so it's really been inspiring being part of this group in ways that I get to express it and share it with the world. I don't know if we're going to get to my superpower yet, but whenever you're ready to ask me, I'll share that with you as well.
What a wonderful service. Thank you for offering the service.
Yes. So reflecting on my superpower, I find myself to be an intuitive innovator. Really one of the things that I've learned and being in this flow state mastermind is to trust myself, and in the discovery of trusting myself, there's been signs of resistance, as we call it. And being with the resistance, I've discovered so much about myself that I just learned to appreciate and love about me. And even having conversations in this group there, I'm discovering so much more about the resistance. And it's funny because the resistance is my friend, right? It helps me to evolve and discover. And one of the things, just even in this past week, being present to my definite chief aim. And I really was speculating, like, what is my definite chief aim? Like really being present to it. And what actions am I taking that aligns with my definite chief aim? And it just had me just so excited and really being present to my commitment to myself in life, that is my life. And it's so inspiring because I really see it as a done deal now versus like maybe one day, so I can go on and on. It's just really just grateful to the continuation of this discovery and exploration.
That is wonderful. I am so happy and blessed that you mentioned resistance is your friend.
Mm-hmm.
What are some realizations or insights, perspectives that resistance has communicated to you that you trust will be beneficial for everyone?
I don't want to do it. It can be just so simple as that, right? And in the part of the resistance was I would even share with, like Hilary has shared before, we're not really wanting to maybe post, right? And then realizing, like, what is the resistance? Why do I not want to do it? In my conversation, if it's too much work, I've identified what my resistant conversation is. Oh, it's too much work. I'm not going to do it. And so when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that is actually my resistance conversation. And then I'll let it go and then look more into details on taking action regarding what I was resisting. And then flow just happens, So, yeah.
I love how you refer to it as resistance conversation.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yes. And so you have a conversation with it, clarity arises.
Yes.
Is released or transmuted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what to do next.
Yes. And then it also builds my muscle on trusting myself, Joseph. It's just the most beautiful thing. I'm trying to think of other areas of resistance, but I know that one for sure. That like too much work, I'm just I'm not doing this. It would be my cutoff, And now I just realize, no, there's something there for me to discover.
Yes, one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, should I do it or should I not do it? I always say the answer is depends. Have a conversation with that resistance. Sometimes the cave we fear to enter is the place to go into that has the treasure that we seek.
Yes.
Sometimes it might be, well, legitimately, this is not the step to take. let's have a conversation with resistance, because the resistance can be helpful as well. Certainly, I would resist doing something that doesn't feel authentic, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's normal. Yet there may be resistance revealing identification to a belief in which through which I'm not allowing myself to do what I genuinely desire to do, which for you was put out the videos, take the steps.
Mm-hmm. And, I'd like to share that even now that I've taken the steps, oh my gosh, it's been, not only is it easy, but now that I'm getting so much feedback for so many people, I'm getting speaking engagements.
Yes.
People wanting to talk to me and connect and doing what I'm up, participating what I'm up to. I'm like, wow, look what opened up being present to my resistance, and it's one of the things I also discovering how the intuitive side of me, sometimes I argue with my intuitive side. I say, no, it's not that. And it was like, yes, it is, and it's the back and forth of discovery. And it's like, girl, just trust yourself, so it's just, it is so delicious, as I say, as I discover so much about myself and trusting myself and trusting the flow.
This is wonderful because I see you also embodying it and presenting it through your communication.
Yes.
Your clients, the various events you do now, people invite you because they enjoy hearing your authenticity.
Yes.
By going through things that they may be going through right now, and then, let's say, transmuting the resistance, they know you are insightful in that regard.
Yes.
And so your presence automatically results in clarity for them. Have you noticed that as well?
Yes, most definitely. Yes, it has its magical moments, I must say. Oh, there it is. And there go that deliciousness, right? So I love it. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Tammy. I will link the description to your channel, your resources, and I trust everyone will benefit greatly connecting with you.
Yes. And thank you so much, Joseph. And thank you so much, my flow peeps. I love you guys. I thank you so much.
We love you too, Tammy.